Hey mini dreamers! Welcome back to my channel. This channel is all about my miniature adventures, whether it's going to miniature shows or showing you the miniatures that I've been making lately. I hope you like it here as much as I do. I do have to apologize for my last YouTube short. In that short, I talked about making a haunted manor, and although I can't wait to get started on that project, I think being November 2nd and all, that ship has sailed. So hopefully I get to start working on it next summer. Anyway, in the meantime, I wanted to show you something that I made a little while back. Remember those hair elastics with the balls on the end that would like pop your head and give you bruises when your mom would do your hair? Well, for whatever reason, I decided to make those. So I just whipped up a quick template in Canva. Let me know if you'd like to see a video about how I did that. But anyway, as you can see, I found some small elastic string and I'm just trying to measure out how much I'll need. These ended up being more of a 1/6 scale, whereas I usually work in 1/12 scale. But these were so fiddly to make that I don't think I could manage in 1/12 scale. I don't know, maybe some other day when I'm feeling crazy, but for now this was pretty much where my skill level was at, and even then. So now I'm just getting all my materials together. I used some small seed beads. I used the transparent ones because that's how I remember my hair elastics being. And I just took a few out so they wouldn't be all over the place. So my thought process was that I would thread the beads onto the elastic and then use some glue to glue the ends together. I tried using my E6000 glue. It was a little stuck, so we had to get out the big guns and use the pliers, but we got there in the end. So I put some on a little piece of paper so that I could just dip the elastic in, so it wouldn't be as tricky, or so I thought. So now I'm grabbing the elastic and trying with all my might to thread on the little beads. At that point, I realized I couldn't see crap, and so I got my little handy-dandy magnifying glass out, and it's really nifty because it has little pinchers that can hold my things in place, and you'll see me use that later. It's like those, what do they call them? Extra hands or hand helpers or something. Anyway, so I'm trying with all my might to thread the beads, and it was much better with the magnifying glass. Still finicky, but I don't know what I would have done without it. And I put my 2 beads on and decided I was going to stick the ends together. But because the elastic is so short, that was going to be very tricky. So I dipped both ends at the same time into the glue, which was tricky in itself because it's not like they're penetrating the glue very well because they're so floppy. And then I tried to hold them in place while the glue dried. Major mistake because I am not a patient person. So you'll see exactly how long that lasted. I threw away that idea pretty quick. So then I got some tacky glue out thinking that would be better. Don't know what I was thinking, but okay. Well, actually, I was thinking it would dry faster. That was my thought process there. So I got my tacky glue out, tried the same technique. It did dip in a little bit better. And then again, I thought I was going to sit there and wait till it dried. First of all, it was hard to get the 2 ends together with such a short piece of elastic. And you can see how much I struggled there. So yeah, here's me holding the 2 ends together and questioning my life choices once again. I seem to do that often. And for all of about 15 seconds, I sat there with the ends stuck together and then decided to take everything apart. When I did that, I got a little loose string, but hey, that was an easy thing to cut off, although it happened more often than you might think. So take 2. This is actually when I realized that I had made a critical mistake. I had planned on using crimper beads to make that little metal part that was in the middle on the real elastics. I had completely forgot to thread those on. So here we go again with the threading. And the thing is, that crimper bead had to be threaded with both threads. So I got the first bead on, and then I tried to thread the crimper bead. That was even trickier because not only did I have to get one piece of string in that tiny little hole, but I had to get 2 of them. You can see how well that went. So my strategy was add some glue, glue them together to try and make it like 1 point instead of 2 points. It looks like it's not going to happen, but it did happen. I promise. I have proof. But it did take a while. This is why I say I can't imagine even attempting this in 1/12 scale unless I find some other technique or other materials to use. One day, possibly, because they're so darn cute once they're done. Okay, we finally got it on. So now I had to put the second bead on, but just on one of the, well, I was going to say strings, but it's an elastic. So just on one end of the elastic. Then I used my little helping hands to pinch things into place and hold things together, which really saved me in this project because I don't know how I thought I would do it without it. And then I got out the Gorilla Glue gel and basically just put some on one end, got the other end together, and then I realized that they didn't necessarily have to be like butted against each other, you know what I mean? Like in a circle. They could just be side by side, and I could cover that with the bead later. So that was my stroke of genius. Anyway, I did that a bunch more times. I made some blue ones too, because I remember having blue ones. And I tried different glues just to see what would work best. I'm speeding it up here because you really don't need to watch me suffer that whole time. Will I ever have these for sale in an Etsy shop one day? No. I'm sorry to say. I can't see myself making any more of these for a very long time, as adorable as they are. But you never know. Never say never. I do believe that. You see me using my Barely Art glue to add to the elastics that were glued together already with the Gorilla Glue. Not sure what that did, but apparently it helped. Anyway, after letting everything dry, I finally had something that was closer to the vision I had at the beginning. I added some glue on the string so that I could make sure that the bead kind of stayed in that general area. I don't want them slipping all the way down. It was also to hide the seam from where the elastic is glued together. So the Barely Art glue came in handy just because of the fine tip. And of course, what would a miniature maker do without her tweezers? It's a staple in miniature making, even if I use my nails anyway in the end. And I kind of used the end of my tweezers to tuck in the little bit of frayed. I don't know if it was really that frayed, but I don't know. I just wanted to hide the seam. And then I wanted to see what it looked like on my little cardboard cutouts. I printed it on cardstock, so it made them a little sturdier. Now, as much as I thought these were going to be the same size, they ended up being kind of wonky and different sizes, but at that point, I just didn't care anymore. You get the general idea. And they're still cute. Yeah, lots of glue was used in the making of this video, although really not that much because I'm only using tiny amounts, obviously. It's not like I was making slime or anything. Miniature slime. There's an idea. Anyway, you can see how the second one is much longer than the first one, but I really don't care. Here's some photos of what the end product looks like. They are so darn cute. For the plastic part, I used the plastic from Dentine Gum. I like the Dentine Gum because instead of the aluminum foil that peels off but that doesn't peel off and that stays stuck, they use like a plastic colored film and it comes off so easily. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're crazy enough to try this, please let me know. I want to know that I'm not the only crazy one. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much again, and remember, big dreams come in small packages.